Thank you for tuning in to another edition of Wildcat Tailgate. I'm Andrew Eaton alongside Taylor Clark. It was homecoming this past Saturday in Wayne, America, and the Wildcat football team hosted Southwest Minnesota State, and the defense showed up and held SMSU to 2 field goals, and Wayne State College improved to 4-2 on the year and 2-0 in division play. A pair of lengthy field goals set the tone early for the Wildcats. The first drive was an 11-play, 74-yard drive, and the second was a 67-yard drive on 11 plays that burned 4 minutes and 21 seconds on the play clock. A Skylar Crew field goal before halftime put Southwest Minnesota State on the board, and the third quarter belonged to the Wildcats as they controlled the ball for over 10 minutes on a 15-play, 80-yard drive that ended with a Zach Osborne to Nate Rogers touchdown pass. Southwest Minnesota State was held to a field goal after driving down to the 7-yard line that cut the lead to 13-6. Then Rashad Trimble happened. Clinging to a 7-point lead, Wayne State College needed to close the game out with the run game, and Trimble found an opening in the defense and raced down the field and down the sideline for a 52-yard touchdown that extended the lead to 20-6, and that was the final score of the game. Leading the Wildcats was Trimble with 159 yards, rushing on 25 carries. Osborne came back after missing the game last week against Augustana and completed 14 of 30 passes for 247 yards, but he threw 2 interceptions and the touchdown pass to Rogers. Lane Sullivan chipped in 7 catches for 47 yards, and Nate Rogers led with the 3 catches and the 33 yards and the 1 touchdown. Rogers is tied for 3rd place all-time in touchdown receptions in a career, and leading the way for the Wildcat defense was Emily Hopp, Colby Foster, and Tyler Thompson, who had 8 tackles each, and Aaron Wright had an interception. The Wayne State Wildcats are set to host Sioux Falls in a 7 p.m. matchup at Bob Cunningham Field. And now I am joined by Taylor Clark. Taylor, both of us called this game, and what was your kind of takeaway from this?
I thought it was a good game for the Cats. I mean, they opened up. They had field goals at the beginning, which was good. Because, I mean, once you get those, I mean, you can put the game out of reach with a touchdown, and we saw that with Rashad Trimble, as he got that 52-yard touchdown, which basically put that game out of the books for Southwest Minnesota State. So I mean, just plays like that really get the game going.
Coming off last week against Augustana, where they intercepted the opposing quarterback 7 times. And they were really able to control the outcome of this game, control the line of scrimmage. Not a lot of room was there for the Wildcats. And what did you think of trying to stick with the running game, even though early on in the game it just didn't work? All of a sudden, when you needed to get one last drive to burn the clock out, and Trimble races down for 52 yards. What was your take on that play?
Like we said, we were on the radio talking about it. I mean, they just need one more touchdown here to put this game out of the reach. And I wasn't expecting that run, 52-yard run into the end zone, but I mean that helps a lot. And Rashad got a good hold that the line got him open for him, and he just took down the field. And I mean that's big when you can do something like that.
Aaron Blyle started last week for the Wildcats, and because Zach Osborne was injured with the left foot injury, he came back last week again on Saturday and came back. And is it really that big of a difference between somebody like Blyle and somebody like Osborne, just maybe the experience factor? Is that why the game kind of turned out better than it did against Augustana?
I think the experience factor. I mean, Blyle, first game ever going out there last week. That's always a difficult task to complete, especially college. Like, it's way different than high school football. And so for him to come out and just handle the team like that was good. But I mean, Osborne being back, that really helps a lot, because it's not just Osborne being in there, it's the whole team kind of knowing Osborne's techniques and knowing his play abilities. So that's always big too.
You do have to wonder with Zach Osborne with the injured foot, throwing the 2 interceptions early on. You can tell just from the way he expressed himself on the sideline that he was really upset at himself for throwing those 2 interceptions. And you kind of do have to wonder about that injury, if it's bothering him when he's trying to step into his throws. He had a lot of guys on one-on-one situations, Nate Rogers, Sam Wagner, and then Shamir Williams was able to get behind the defense, but he just could not step into that throw. Hopefully, if he's with the trainers right now, you're hoping that he gets that foot rested a little bit and try to do a better job when you really need him, because Sioux Falls coming into last week was ranked number 7 in the country.
Yeah, and Coach McLaughlin's not going to let him not get away with not going to the trainer, because that's what's his big thing. If you're hurt, that's where you are all the time, because he just wants you guys to wants them to get better, and especially in Osborne's situation, you got to get that foot better and get that ankle and everything, so he can step back and actually have placement to throw it and have the accuracy he usually does when he passes the ball.
And Wayne State improves to 4-2, 2-0 in the NSIC South Division. And we'll be right back to discuss this upcoming matchup against Sioux Falls, coming off their first loss of the season. I'm Andrew Eaton alongside Taylor Clark.
Be a part of something bigger than yourself every Thursday at Crew. Crew is a caring community passionate about connecting people to Jesus. Join us in Gardner Hall at 7:30 for music, speakers, and fellowship every week. Life can be lonely when you go away to college. Crew feels like home.
Welcome back to Wildcat Tailgate. I'm Andrew Eaton alongside Taylor Clark. The University of Sioux Falls comes into town for a primetime Thursday night matchup. The Cougars are 5-1 on the season, losing to Winona State 31-13. The Cougar defense gave up 432 yards of total offense to WSU. Their quarterback, Darren Brecken, led the way in carving up the Cougars with 226 yards passing and 2 touchdowns. Running back Javen Roebuck had 2 touchdowns and 142 yards on 17 attempts. Isaiah Franson had 6 catches for 81 yards and 2 touchdowns. In the loss, Sioux Falls receiver Anthony Holmes hauled in 5 catches for 123 yards, and the rushing attack was anemic, averaging 2.3 yards a carry and only netting 65 yards. And the biggest takeaway were the Cougar turnovers against USF quarterback Ian Felder, who completed 17 of 38 passing, 1 touchdown, but was picked off 3 times. This was definitely an off night for USF. Coming into this game, like we mentioned before, they were number 7 in the country in Division II and 5-0. The Cougars were without star running back Max Mickey, who has 873 yards and 8 touchdowns on the season. And Fielder has 1,009 yards with 5 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. Leading receivers are Holmes, who has 327 yards on 22 catches, and Ty Smith with 17 catches for 217 yards. Defensively, this is where they have excelled, with Andy Warren, who has intercepted 3 passes, and Dennis Gardick, who has 11 tackles for loss and 8 sacks on the season. As a unit, they've been very impressive, intercepting 5 passes and have sacked the opposing quarterback 21 times. Taylor, looking a little bit about Sioux Falls and just how the last week and how the season has gone, this is a very good defensive unit that Wayne State needs to be prepared for. But when you have an anemic offense after you lose your star running back, that kind of makes you feel good that this might be a defensive showdown.
I think especially with the defense playing as good as they've been playing. I mean, you can't argue with that, especially, and offense needs to, they've been playing good. I think if they take what the defense has been doing to other teams, it's going to be a great game. In Sioux Falls, you got to look out for them. They're quick. They're quick, they're lengthy, they can do a lot of things with their pass game. Defense is going to have their work cut out for them. I think the offense is going to be the same way, but hopefully they can do well. And if they've been doing if they do next week what they did this past Saturday, then they'll be good.
What is, for the Wildcat offense to have success, especially with the blitzing unit, with the 21 sacks that they have as a unit, if you're Zach Osborne, do you need to see him really kind of try to step into the pocket a little bit more and use his legs to his advantage?
I think so, but I mean, it all starts with the offensive line. I mean, that's a big thing, and I hope they're getting stuff ready for the offensive line, because with that Sioux Falls unit, if they get past there, there's no stopping them, and Osborne's going to have to do a good job of stepping out of the pocket, staying in there, not losing his frustration and confidence, and just finding the man downfield.
And with that, Wayne State plays 7 o'clock this Thursday against Sioux Falls. And after the break, we'll be right back to discuss some X factors, some players that you need to keep an eye on as this matchup progresses into Thursday when the game kicks off. I'm Andrew Eaton alongside Taylor Clark. We'll be right back.
You look frustrated. Sam, what's wrong?
I can't concentrate.
Well, what are you listening to? No. You should be listening to 91.9 The Cat. That's gonna help you focus. There, see?
Yeah, okay.
Welcome back to Wildcat Tailgate. I'm Andrew Eaton alongside Taylor Clark. And Taylor, looking at what Sioux Falls brings to this table defensively and also offensively, what are some of your key points to this game that you kind of see how this game is going to turn out?
I think defense, we've been saying it all the time, they need to keep doing what they're doing and step up for this game. Especially linebackers. I mean, they're doing a good job, but they need to really keep an eye on the backs and try to stay in their zone, because I know this week there are some passes up the middle that they didn't get, and just staying in that zone and trying to see the whole field and instead of just the quarterback's eyes. That always helped me playing linebacker as well. You know, you can't expect to go for the ball when the quarterback's eyes are going. You got to look for guys all around. And I think if they stay calm and they do that, then they'll be fine. And on the offense or on the defensive line, they just need to get in there. They need to rush them, get to the quarterback, release pressure on him. They don't have to sack him, just get pressure on him. If they do that, I mean, it's going to be nowhere to go for him.
And for Sioux Falls against Wayne State, what are your key points for the unit that Sioux Falls has?
I mean, just keeping your boundaries and keeping sane out there. Because I mean, once you get frustrated, if they so happen to get up a touchdown or whatever happens, just trying to keep your composure with everything that's going on.
The one thing that I'm kind of looking forward to is the run defenses for both teams, because Sioux Falls got burned badly against the unit from Winona State, and Rashad Trimble had over 150 yards rushing. This is the second time he's been over 100 yards on the season, and when the offensive line blocks for him, when he gets the opportunities off the off-tackle plays, up the middle, vertical game, anything, Trimble has proven time and time again that he's the workhorse back that Wayne State wants. That's kind of my key. And also, Lane Sullivan has really been the possession receiver that Wayne State has desperately needed. You also have Nate Rogers, who's your red zone threat, and then you have your burner guys, your flankers, both in Sam Wagner and Shamir Williams. Defensively, Wayne State has one of the better linebacker cores out there with Tyler Thompson, Dwayne Scott, and then Glenn Harris with the 3 interceptions he had against Augustana. Aaron Wright doing a really good job at safety. You have one of the better field goal kickers, somebody that you can rely on, in Ethan Knudsen. If Zach Osborne can get healthy and go back to what he was at the beginning of the season, there's a realistic chance with the overtime loss and the game that they lost the first week, this team could be undefeated right now. And it's really impressive to see this unit grow as the season goes on. The defense has really stepped it up this season, and that hasn't happened at all in the last several years of Wayne State football. It's always either the offense is good, the defense struggles, or the defense good and the offense struggles. The offense has struggled when Zach Osborne, because I feel like the offense is tailored around, no pun intended, Taylor,
that's fine.
But it's not intended for somebody else to step in there. You have to change the complexion of what this offense is.
I think when we did the spring game, Osborne always passed to Nate Rogers. We thought that was going to be his main man, which, I mean, he is, but at the same time, it's good. Because I think that's how I felt about our team, the Wildcat team, for the past couple of years. There's always just been one guy that was the main guy, and now there's 4 or 5 of them that Osborne can trust. They get the ball and they do a great job. Actually, we got 2 running backs too. We're Trimble, the main one, then Wilson also. I mean, he can step in there and do great things. But yeah, with Trimble getting in there and getting holes, there's no stopping that kid. I mean, he's worked all summer. He goes back to Texas and he puts in work there. He's not just hanging around in Texas. He's putting in work at camps and all that. So he always comes back strong, and I think he's come back a little stronger this year.
We're excited for this next game for Wayne State College, and once again, they will play Sioux Falls at 7 p.m. this Thursday. I will have the call alongside Tyler Vermeer. This has been Wildcat Tailgate I'm Andrew Eaton alongside Taylor Clark. And Taylor, what is your final prediction for this game?
I think if Wayne stays in the game, I mean they're gonna win it. It's just all about starting the game off. You've seen momentum a couple of weeks ago, how they get that first touchdown at the kickoff. I mean, you just got to have not necessarily that play, but you have to have something that gets the game started. Once you get the game started in the first half, I mean, you can just play it by ear the rest of the game. So I think if they play good at the start, they're having no problem.
And there you have it, Mr. Linebacker over here with the prediction. Once again, 7 o'clock. We hope to see you guys there at the game or tune in to 91.9 The Cat.